Hello everyone, this tarot reading is focusing on the question, how can you trust timing in your life decisions? So really this question is asking, how can you develop faith that things in your life are unfolding at the right pace, even when you might feel uncomfortable, uncertain, impatient, or worried about making the wrong choices. Now, before I begin, I just want to say that I'm really enjoying the energy of this reading, and I'm looking forward to actually sharing the message that's coming through. I am picking up on quite a lot, so I want to take my time talking about what I'm actually noticing and feeling. So this might not be a couple of minute reading. It might be close to around 10 minutes or so, just so I can really explore the message, or so I can. I'm not speaking English, so I can properly explore the message. So yeah, if you are feeling called to the reading, you're very welcome here. I would definitely advise you just to make yourself a nice cup of drink and get comfortable and take time to sit and listen if you're feeling called to this reading, okay? So, the first thing that stood out to me more than anything is, again, as I said yesterday's tarot reading, is that colour blue again is coming out. So we've got the world upright, the star reversed, and the Five of Wands reversed. Now, the star is usually associated with the night sky. And that feeling of hope shining even in darkness, okay? Now, yes, the other cards are more to do with daytime, but it's the message, it's what I'm picking up on is that feeling of hope, even when you have gone through something challenging. And I do feel that many of you have been through a very long cycle that might have felt quite heavy, challenging, or emotionally draining at times. I really strongly feel like you've had to fight some battles, and it's been a long time of just constant battles. That's just what I feel with this. And yeah, what stands out here is not really the darkness, it's more of the light blue energy. Now, as I said yesterday, blue often represents calmness, clarity, truth, and emotional understanding. And the colour blue also connects to the throat chakra, which relates to honesty, truth, and expressing your authentic self, which I'll get to very soon, okay? Because there is something that I'm picking up about that as well. So there is definitely a sense in the reading that clarity and peace are really beginning to emerge after a period where things might have felt uncertain or confusing, okay? So there's a bit of confirmation there for you. Now, with the Devil card at the bottom of the deck, which is obviously you can see is a much more of a darker tone, it's like it almost represents the places in life where things felt hidden, heavy or restrictive, where you couldn't fully see the way forward. So visually, I don't know if you're seeing it, but for me, it's like the cards are showing a journey, and it's like you're moving from that darker energy of feeling stuck or limited into something much more lighter, clearer, and more open, okay? Another thing that's standing out to me, which is very noticeable, I don't know if you've noticed it yourself, but it's the amount of naked figures we've got. The she in the World card is naked. The woman in the Star card is also naked, and then the figures in the Devil card are also unclothed. So in tarot, when you've got quite a few characters or figures appearing without clothing on, it often symbolises being stripped of masks, defensive, yeah, whatever, and illusions. It represents, it's more positive seeing nakedness, okay, because it can represent truth, vulnerability, and again, authenticity, okay? So it's a few times now I've brought up the word authentic. So what I also find interesting here is that above the Devil card, we have the World and the Star, both showing this raw, authentic state, okay? So it feels really symbolic for someone going through a horrible process where you've had to confront certain shadows, patterns, attachments, beliefs in your life, and oh goodness gracious me, the English today. Although that process can feel extremely uncomfortable, and I am so aware of how uncomfortable it can be, it's also a very incredible cleansing, okay? Afterwards, you acknowledge it. When you're going through it, not at all. It sucks. So it's almost like you're being stripped back to your true self, letting go of the roles, the fears or expectations that may have been placed on you or that you've placed on yourself, my darling. And through that process, you're going to start to begin to rediscover who you really are, okay? Now, looking at the World card, this represents achievement, a completion, and the closing of a major life cycle. The World card often appears when something has come full circle, okay? And this can be years, literally years. It's not something that's like in a week. This is a very much a very long cycle. I do honestly feel years that you've had to go through this. And it shows really with the World card that you've gained wisdom and experience from what you've gone through and now are reaching, the end of that chapter, okay? So in the context, really, when I'm thinking about it, in the context of trusting timing, the world suggests that some of you may be standing right at the edge of a new beginning, okay? But that beginning could only happen after the cycle is fully completed. And sometimes, Madonna, we really want to move forward quickly, but life requires certain lessons or experiences to finish before the next phase can begin. And actually, that's a blessing in disguise, okay? And when we go through that, we understand, actually, I'm kind of grateful that we had to go through this, or we had to wait, or I had to look at this in this way. Yeah, we're kind of grateful afterwards. It makes a lot more sense when we're in that new cycle. Why we've had to wait, and yeah, if that makes sense. So yeah, with the star reversed upright, I'm not going to move it because it's going to take me ages to pick it up and fill about. But when the star is upright, it's all about hope, healing, renewal, and that spiritual guidance. When reversed, it can show a time where someone may have temporarily lost faith or felt disconnected from hope. So it can represent a period where healing is still taking place, okay? And I can see why you might have lost hope, or the amount of healing that you've had to go through because of what you've had to go through, because of what you've had to experience, okay, my darling? And sometimes healing it's not like that. It takes time. But this doesn't feel negative here at all with the star being reversed. Instead, it feels more like acknowledgement of the healing journey itself. And again, sometimes before we can move forward with confidence, we really have to process disappointment, sadness, or emotional wounds that have built up over time. And with the Five of Wands reversed, which often represents resolution of conflict, upright, this card can show tension, chaos, competition, or internal struggles. When reversed, it suggests that those battles are calming down. The misunderstandings, the tension, or that internal conflict that once existed is starting to settle, okay? Which is good. So we see the healing, we see calmness, we also see authenticity. So yeah, when I'm looking at these cards all together, it's kind of like the story's coming a little bit more clearer for me. The world it shows the completion of a cycle. The star reversed is showing the emotional healing that's taking place along the way, and the Five of Wands reverse shows the conflict or the chaos finally beginning to calm, which is nice. And at the bottom of the deck with the Devil reversed, which is actually a very, very powerful card of liberation, because the Devil reversed represents breaking free from unhealthy attachments, fears, or addictions, limiting beliefs, or situations that's what's once made you feel, very trapped. So the message of this reading really is, or the deeper message of this reading is that you have likely been going through a process of release, letting go of things that are not aligned with who you truly are anymore, okay? So that is a lot of growth. That's a lot of battles you've had to face. That's a lot of growth you've had to go through, my darling, okay? And this is really where the question about trusting timing becomes quite important, because sometimes timing feels frustrating because, we want it to move ahead before we can fully process or release what came before. But these cards suggest that where certain shadows or patterns or emotional experiences that needed to be faced are cleared first, okay? Which honestly will make so much sense to you, and you'll be grateful when you've done that, okay? That Oh, no, I thought it was the cat then. That process might feel slow, very uncomfortable, or extremely lonely at times, but it's also preparing you for a new cycle where you can show up more authentically as yourself, okay? And that light blue in the cards feels like a gentle reminder that peace and clarity are returning, okay? It's kind of like that fog is beginning to lift, and you can start to see the path ahead more clearly now. So, trusting timing in your life. Trusting timing in your life decisions may come from recognizing that you were never actually stuck or behind. Instead, you're going through a necessary process of healing and growth and release from what's release that what was release that is what's preparing you for the next chapter, okay? So I feel like if I can give you guidance, it's really to acknowledge how far you've come, my darling, because you've had to kick the devil's ass. And this journey has not been easy at all. And you are moving towards a place where things, my darling, I can confirm to you, you really are moving towards a place where things begin to feel lighter, clearer, and more aligned with who you truly are, my darling. So yes, this reading definitely is suggesting that trusting timing really means understanding that certain cycles are really needed to close before new ones begin. And you may have had to face some horrible shadows and people and life experiences, and you've had to release those limiting beliefs and heal parts of yourself along the way. But through that process, my darling, you've been stripping away what no longer belongs to you, and you're now stepping into your authentic self. And now as the conflict really settles as well and the past begins to release its hold, a new chapter is definitely opening for you. And the more you trust this process you have been through, the more you'll actually begin to see that everything has unfolded exactly as it's needed to in order to bring you to this moment, okay? So I hope what I've said has made sense. And I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.